Yeah, just make sure that you detail. I mean, you got the gist of the exercise here. Now it's time to detail it and really, milk it, and get the most out of it. And that means like really make sure all the aspects of what your hands are doing. Keep that right arm off the base, because right now it looks like you're putting a lot of weight on that arm.
Oh, this arm?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do, actually.
that's not a good idea.
Really?
The biggest problem with that is you're restricting blood flow to the hand, or actually out of the hand, because I can see these veins in my arm. I can see them.
Yeah.
And it does not take a lot of pressure to put pressure on those veins and restrict blood flow. And I have seen people like really put a lot of weight here, and they actually hold the base, and they're wondering why their fingers are going numb in their right hand. And one thing I've noticed is I like to have the freedom of movement, especially with the floating thumb here. I don't want my arm sitting there grating on the bed. That gets in the way. Now it's okay to touch it and rub it is one thing, but to like really put the weight of the arm and then bend the wrist like this, not good for your hand.
I wonder how I can get away from that habit.
Well, what you do is you just lift the arm up a little bit and let your shoulder take the weight. Now the thing is, what you're going to notice is this is going to foul up your right hand for a while if you choose to do this, because you're not used to it. So any change here is not going to be pleasant. But I do it for all my techniques now. I don't rest my arm on the base for anything, even slap I don't. Because again, I like this freedom of movement, that I have. Like this, it's just my hand is free to do anything it wants to, and it's not restricted. The only thing touching the base in the right hand is whatever finger's hitting the string at that particular moment, even if it's
That's something I need to learn to do.
Well, just don't do it on that base.
No. And I'm trying to get away from just a lifelong habit of sticking my thumb on something.
Yeah, see, I use my floating thumb technique. We talked about this, right? This is great because it's good for 4, 5, 6 string basses. Always keep, no matter where my hand is on my bass, it's always like that. It's always in its most relaxed position, even when I'm on the C. When I go to the B, it's just...
Well, I'm not doing that.
It got rid of all my string ringing problems. When I'm playing on a high string, all my low strings don't ring anymore.
You're talking about, putting your thumb on the string.
No, I don't. That's the movable anchor. You're actually anchoring it on each string.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is my hand rubs flat.
No, we haven't talked about that.
Floating thumb technique.
No, I haven't done that at all.
Well, basically, my right hand, my thumb, I don't rest my arm on the bass, like I said. And once you start doing this, you're going to notice your shoulder getting fatigued real easily and, quickly, because it's not used to having to do all the work here. But I rest my thumb on top of the pickup lightly, not on the cliff. It's not on the cliff here. It just sits on top. Now, it's also important, I've found, to keep your thumbnail really short.
Oh, I keep all my nails short.
Okay, especially right here, because if the thumbnail is hitting the plastic, it's not going to grip very well. It's not going to be very comfortable. So it's the flesh part. Also, notice that my thumb is out of the way of the fingers. In other words, it's not like this. My fingers are picking behind the thumb.
Right.
Right? So as I go up, when I go to the E string, my thumb just slides up on top of the E. Doesn't sit up against it. It's actually sitting on top on the side of the thumb. When I go to the A string, my thumb's sitting flat on top of the B and the E. Can you see this?
Yep. Yep.
When I go to the D, it's now physically contacting the B, E, and A. It's lying flat on all three.
All three.
When I go to the D, playing the G, now it's actually physically sitting on all four of the lower strings. And notice that my hand is in no different position here as it is here. I'm also picking more from this joint as opposed exclusively from this one. It's not totally from this joint. There's a little bit of movement here, but I'm getting more movement there than I am here.
Easy to go down, not so easy to go up.
Well, you're going to have to work at this to, get this to be comfortable and have it be, in your muscle memory. But it keeps. Now, it's real important if you're on the higher strings that your thumb is always laying flat on the lower ones, that you actually feel that thumb touching the B, E, A, and D when you're playing on the G.
Right. Yeah.
But I like it because it keeps the lower strings quiet while I'm playing on the higher ones, and it always keeps my hand on the bass in its most relaxed position. Again, when I'm playing on the C, it's exactly the same as when I'm playing on the B. Now, there are situations to where if you were like doing a disco octave line, like you don't want to go like this.
Yeah.
Like you probably said, well, if you do the floating thumb right, I got to do that. No. What I do is I just bend the thumb out a little bit. Instead of like going, instead of that, I just move the thumb out of the way, and I just reach with my second finger some. See, there are three basic techniques. There's a fixed anchor, to where you either fix it there, or you fix it it's like you super glue it someplace on the bass and it just stays there no matter what you're playing.
Yeah, which is my old habit.
That's the fixed anchor. The movable anchor is that the hand moves, which is better than the fixed anchor because it keeps the hand more relaxed, because the more you're reaching the hand out this way, the more you're using hand energy just to do that. Right?
Yep.
So the movable anchor is a step up from the fixed anchor in that respect. But it does not take care of the lower strings when you're playing on them.
Right.
And with good basses, they hear everything, so through an amp and a PA, that little bit of ring gets real nasty real fast. So fixed anchor's up better, but it doesn't solve all the problems, where the actual floating thumb keeps the hand in its most relaxed position and keeps the lower strings quiet while you're playing on the higher ones. And also, added benefit, it keeps the wrist straight. There's no pressure of putting the arm on the bass, so you got free blood flow in and out of the hand.